Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime, where we explore past cases and many times current cases with the purpose of letting you know what could possibly go wrong out there that we need to be careful of, what we need to be aware of to help us be a little more careful of those we let into our lives. I'm Manny Rodriguez with Deep True Crime. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to dive deep into the missing case of Summer Wells. Very, very sad story, as no one knows where this little girl is. And that is what has become such an internet sensation around this case. What happened to Summer Wells? And that's what we're going to be diving deep into today. You see, Summer Wells, her birthday is coming up. February 4th. This is after this video, so if you watch this after February 4th, you will then know at that time she's 6 years old. As of right now, she's still 5 years old and missing, with her 6th birthday coming up. And that's what we're going to be diving into, is this missing child, Summer Wells, who no one knows what happened to her. And it leaves for a very sad, tragic case. So, who is Summer Wells? Summer Moon Utah Wells, she's a 5-year-old little girl who went missing from her home in Rogersville, Tennessee on June 15th of 2021. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. And according to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the area where Summer did go missing is extremely rural. And they said in their statement, all available surveillance photos and videos have been collected and are being reviewed. And they continue to say, while we do not discuss specifics about evidence gathered in an ongoing investigation, we can tell you that numerous search warrants have been executed and any potential digital evidence has been collected. This includes social media accounts. And that's where this kind of still stands, is they're not going to give us a lot of information. Number one, they don't want to compromise their case. Number two, they are still hoping more tips keep flooding in. And we'll talk about that as well. But little Summer Wells, she has been missing for quite some time. And she was last seen outside of her home in Beach Creek community. And the 5-year-old, she was reportedly wearing gray pants and a pink shirt with no shoes. This little 5-year-old girl went missing on June 15th of 2021. Ironically enough, her aunt, Rosemarie Bly, she too is a missing person. I know, how strange is that? You see, her aunt, Rosemarie Bly, she herself was born September 16th of 1987. And she is the daughter of Candus Bly, who is also Summer Wells' grandmother. Rose has been missing for over a decade, making her the second person in the family to disappear without a trace. That is very, very strange, obviously. And so Rose, she has been missing for over a decade, and Summer's mother, Candus, she's the sister of Rose. And at the time of her disappearance, Rose reportedly had 2 daughters under the age of 2. And her husband filed for divorce after she went missing, which was later approved by the Wisconsin Circuit Court. Rosemarie Bly is listed to be 5 feet tall and 110 pounds. Her ex-husband was granted full custody of their daughters. On August 21st of 2009, Rose left her home in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, to drive a few miles away to the next town over in Cushing in order to meet her cousin at a bar. Rose reportedly told her husband at the time that she would be home before midnight, but she never made it to the bar or returned home. Her vehicle was located in a parking lot in Grantsburg 5 days after her disappearance. Now, Grantsburg, that's miles away from the town that she was supposed to be in, but it is where Rose attended high school. The keys to her car were not located, and actually there was not even any evidence of foul play. Prior to her disappearance, Rose told her mother she fell off of a horse and was experiencing head pain. So her mother later would speculate that Rose suffered brain damage, and she thought maybe Rose wandered off on her own. But again, there's no evidence to support this theory either. She was only 21 years old at the time she went missing. Summer Wells' father, Donald Wells, he spoke to reporters about Rose and how her case was giving him new fears in regards to locating his daughter. Here is his quote. When you see cases like that, that's why I lose hope in finding Summer. I want to keep hope, but sometimes I just lose hope and I think, well, maybe we'll never see her again. And that is understandable. When you lose a child, you're probably going to be like, am I ever going to see her? Maybe she's alive, but I'll never see her. Maybe someone kidnapped her and did something heinous to her. And that's where it's like we hope to get more answers, right? And so we're still waiting for answers because the 5-year-old has not been seen since June after she vanished from her family's Tennessee home. You see, Summer, she had been in a front yard planting flowers with her mother and grandmother at the time of her disappearance. And some point around 6:30 p.m., Summer ventured back inside the home on her own because she wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys. That's according to her dad. And so Donald, he says, I went down in the basement and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since. Now, after she was missing, an endangered child alert was put out. The very next day, an Amber Alert was issued for Summer Wells. There have been very few updates in this case that have been shared by police since this all happened. And investigators have not shared any concrete theories about what may have happened to little Summer Wells. Now, Donald, he had previously said that the family believes that she was abducted, despite officials saying there is no evidence to support his claims. Now, what else could he really say? What could he really say about this? He can't find her, so it's easy to say, well, she went missing. I don't know. She was abducted. I mean, really, what else is he going to say outside of that? Unless he knows what has happened to her. And so now questions remain after neighbors described that on June 15th when she went missing, they described that they heard a scream shortly before she went missing, which is odd because the family says they didn't hear anything. She went downstairs, all of a sudden she was gone. Because if they were outside, they should have heard a scream. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. And so, according to the neighbor, and this is what they said, it was a jumbled mess. She was like, Summer's missing. I can't find her. I'm like, look, I heard a scream earlier. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm looking for her now. This is according to Jody Sue Brown, who is the neighbor. And she says, but every day I wake up and I wonder what I could have done. Well, if the family was outside and they didn't hear this scream, was there a scream and they're hiding this? So that alone makes it a little more fishy in some ways, probably fair to say, right? And so the case and everyone surrounding Summer has been completely scrutinized on social media. Everything around Summer is being scrutinized. And so her parents, they're even saying that they've received threats online because people think that the parents had something to do with this. I'm not sold on that yet. I'm not sold on that. Even though, the dad might have a little bit of a shady past, but that doesn't always mean that they're capable of killing or hurting somebody or selling a child off or something. Any of the number of things that could have happened to Summer Wells. And so this is where we hope to find out more. I mean, everyone would probably agree with that. We want to know what has happened to Summer Wells. And so Don Wells, he says, the only reason we put all these pictures out there and the only reason we done all these things was to try to help find Summer. But it turned into a living nightmare. People have banded together to put up posters, social media posts, and billboards to help find Summer. And a billboard organizer, they said we need one person to say something. One person. That's all we need. Yeah, I agree. Who's going to say something is the question. And so what's up with these abduction claims? I mean, there's some claims of abduction, okay? And so Don Wells, the dad, he says she would never leave our hill. I think that someone snuck up on her and grabbed her. I don't understand that because she went downstairs. So this is where some of this is really odd. Seriously. And he says, I think that someone snuck up on her and grabbed her. I don't think she's in the area because the dog goes down to the road and that's the end of the trail, but I don't know that for a fact. No, you really don't know that for a fact. And so we have to wait and try to figure that part out as well. And so he says the way that she just disappeared, she would never do that. He says, we know that there are people praying all around the world, praying for her safe return. So many people love her. And even in an interview that he did, he elaborated further on his theory, insisting that someone came through a wooded trail near the family's home and took the girl when nobody was watching. That's what he says. This is his exact words. We don't know if someone was waiting in a basement or if she came outside here and went to the swing or possibly back up there to grandma's. We don't know. All we know is that she went down the basement. That's the only thing we know, to play with her toys. And this is where I have problems kind of believing his story, because they apparently went in shortly after. Like, they're saying that she went in, the brothers were playing games. She went downstairs, and shortly after they went down looking for her and she was gone. That alone makes it a little sketchy, in my opinion. And so that's where it's a little struggle actually believing everything that they're saying, but it doesn't mean they did anything wrong. This could be facts. Stranger things have happened. And so Donald, he said that the family's basement door was typically left open or unlocked. And this is the home that you're looking at right now. And you'll see the basement door here in a minute. And he said at the time of her disappearance, he said he was at work, his sons were inside the home, and his wife and mother-in-law were outside facing away from the basement door. So they were out in the front and the basement door is in the back. And Candus Bly, Summer's mother, and she appeared to share the same theory that Donald had. She says, in my heart, that somebody has come up here and took her, has lured her away from here. Whoever has my daughter, I pray they haven't harmed her, and bring her back to us safe and sound. And that's where it's like, you guys were right out in front, and shortly after, she's gone. Shortly after going downstairs. And shortly before her disappearance, she had long hair, but shortly before her disappearance, they buzzed her hair to a close crop, just like the boys. That part, I don't know why they would do that to this little girl. Maybe they had a reason behind it. I don't know. But in the hours after she vanished, police shared pictures of her with her long hair, describing her as 3 feet tall, weighing 40 pounds, and with blue eyes. I would think they would have showed more of a current picture with her hair buzzed off. And in a later alert, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, they tweeted, missing 5-year-old Summer Wells may now have shorter hair than that pictured in our earlier alerts. So they must not have known that her hair was buzzed. Interesting. Summer's parents, they have never said how soon before her disappearance was her hair cut off. Family photos do show that her 3 brothers all have short cropped hair. And you can see in this home, this back door, that is the back door to the basement. That is the back door to the basement. And so she went, that's the back of the house. She went in through the front, went downstairs to play with her toys by herself. Door was unlocked. How does this happen? How does that happen? I'm still confused. I'm sure a lot of us are still confused how any of this could have occurred, right? We're all wondering, how does this happen? One minute, she's walking in to go play with her toys. The next minute, she's gone. And no one hears a thing. That is hard to understand, how someone has to have some type of answers. Probably fair to say, right? And so after this has all occurred, Summer's 3 young brothers were removed from the Wells family home 6 weeks after she disappeared. And this came after Donald claimed that his house was a dangerous place to be, for kids. This is after a slew of threats being made against him and Candus. So maybe because of all these threats, he's like, this is not a safe place anymore. But again, why are people just, I don't know. You know how people can play detective and just you're guilty, period, without having more facts. Now, this does sound pretty suspicious as to how did this happen and no one has answers. I get that part. But right now, I'm not sold on it being the parents. I could be wrong. I'm just not sold on it being the parents at this time. But I feel like someone knows. And maybe the parents, that part is where I'm like, maybe they didn't, I don't know. I'm so lost for words for this little girl. I'm so lost for words. This should not happen. And now no one has a single answer as to where Summer Wells is at. And so now the 3 boys have even been taken from their parents. And Donald Wells, he says right now, with everybody attacking us and all this stuff going on, it's probably better for them, meaning the 3 boys being gone. Donald, he also reportedly said that a lot of people were coming to him and accusing him of various things regarding the disappearance of his daughter. Yep, that is what people do. Unfortunately, right or wrong, that's what they do. Kind of what I'm doing, right? Like, what? Come on, you guys got to know some more, but we don't know more. And so Donald Wells and Candus Bly, they both previously claimed to have taken and passed a lie detector test in relation to Summer Wells' disappearance. Now, Candus reportedly took the test at the district attorney's office on June 20th. This was 5 days after Summer went missing. Now, Donald, he claims to have successfully completed a polygraph on June 17th. Now, he did tell local media that he and Candus had been asked to do a test sooner, but the pair were reportedly too emotional to go through with it. Well, granted, this doesn't stand up in court by any means, but passing a test, people have learned how to pass a lie detector test. And I could see why they're too emotional shortly after. And even to this day, they're still struggling. But the question remains, will we have answers? And so, they have both passed the lie detector test, and we'll just have to wait to find out, will there be more to this? And so there was a little update recently, but it really wasn't in connection to Summer Wells, right? And so, now we're trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? Now, around 3 weeks after her disappearance in July, Donald did offer the grim prediction that Summer is probably no longer alive. And he says, statistically speaking, there's a good chance she's already dead. Donald told the news. He said, I hate to think that. I love her with all my heart. If nothing else, I'll see her in the resurrection. As long as I keep the commandments and do what I'm supposed to do, I'll see her. And, with him, at least, that is one of the things that does concern me, is he has said multiple times that he doesn't think this looks good for her. He doesn't think that the outcome is going to be good for her. Excuse me. And why would he say that? Why would he say that? And it's, there have been knowns where kids go missing and years later they do show up, right? But he seems that, his lack of faith is questionable there too. His lack of faith in her being alive. But for her to just go missing just like that is weird on its own. But we have to wait and see what happens. And so since then, it has been a little shaky for them. It literally has been a little shaky for them. Especially Donald Wells. You see, in October, he was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence near his home in Hawkins County in October of last year. And so, the Wells family, they did issue a statement on their website, which is dedicated to finding Summer Wells. And you can find that findingsummerwells.com, something like that. And so he said, or the family said Donald's actions were stupid, and that he said he was out driving in search of cigarettes at the time of his arrest. And he's thanking everyone for their prayers. Thank you, everyone, for kind messages. There are no words to describe for what each day and night is like. We needed cigarettes. It was a stupid decision. Please keep us in prayer. Keep Don. The pain won't go away. Thank you. And that was from the wife. And so, since then, there has been a custody gag order about the boys that were taken. And so a judge issued a gag order on the Child Protective Services case involving his and Candus' sons, the three boys that were taken away after the disappearance. And the gag order says, all parties to this action are hereby prohibited from discussing this matter or the children with the media or any other non-essential person, entity, and or uninvolved or disinterred parties and or persons. And officials have refused to comment on why the gag order was issued. If I had to take a guess, it's probably because of all these threats. But why would that be? So maybe they know more. Again, it's a gag order, so we won't really know. We can only speculate on a lot of that. What do you think is the reason that there was a gag order issued? Let me know in the comments what the reason is you believe that this gag order was issued. And Donald Wells, he does have a criminal record, which includes other alcohol-related charges and domestic violence. And according to a warrant filed in Hawkins County on October 15, 2020, Candus called police to report a domestic assault by her husband. And that led Candus to file for an order of protection against him, writing, "I am afraid for my children and myself." Now, she did later ask for the order to be dismissed, and the charges against Donald were dropped on April 21st of last year, 2021. And this was, and the April 21st, this was 2 months before Summer disappeared. So if you think about that, that doesn't look good for him, does it? She says, "I am afraid for my children and myself." You're talking about someone who is married to him or is married to him. She was afraid for herself and her children. And then 2 months after this is dropped, little Summer Wells go missing. This could be why people are kind of pointing to Donald Wells. And so now state investigators, they have received over 1,000 tips in connection with Summer's vanishing. But they said so far it has not yielded any concrete leads. And so she's been reported missing from her home, and now we just have to wait to see, right? She was reported missing from her home in Beach Creek community of Hawkins County on the evening of June 15th. That's a big day. That's a day I may never forget. And so they said that the sheriff, Ronnie Lawson, he said the Wells parents reported her missing around 6:30, but they do not know exactly when she was last seen. Wells is 3 feet tall, weighs 40 pounds, and has blonde hair and blue eyes. She was reported missing from her house that you are looking at right now on Ben Hill Road around 6:30 p.m. Local, state, and federal authorities are investigating the disappearance. This is still an active Amber Alert for the 5-year-old girl who is missing in Tennessee. And allegedly, her family was upstairs and at the front of the house. Summer had gone indoors to the basement, where the basement door is located at the back of the house. Extensive searches have been and continue to be done of this whole mountainous area. Investigation is still being continued by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in congruence with local enforcement agencies. What we do know at the time of this live video is she is 5 years old, she's female, she's white, her hair is blonde eyes, her hair is blonde, her eyes are blue, she is about 3 feet, weighs about 40 pounds, she's missing from Rogersville, Tennessee, and she's been missing since June 15th of 2021. Anyone who may have some information, you are encouraged to please share with anyone you can think of that may lead to this. They have a reward. I'll talk about that here in a second. But the search definitely continues. There is an active Amber Alert. 19 agencies are part of the search for Wells, and the Amber Alert remains active. And, so hopefully we will know more. And so everybody is a person of interest until they find Summer. Everyone who was in that area, the brothers, the mom, the grandma, everyone that was in that house, Don Wells, everyone, family, everyone is a suspect. And so they said that spotty cell phone and radio coverage have made communication with crews difficult. And ground search efforts have reached a 1 mile radius of the home and are expected to be a 2 mile radius. With everything that they can do, they're checking everything around this. And so the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, they have investigated 50 leads so far, but nothing has led to anything credible. And so, we hope to find more. And here's the thing, is that Donald Wells, he was in trouble again. This month in January that I'm creating this video, he was in trouble again. You see, another alcohol-fueled domestic complaint. Now, after his DUI in October of last year, he sounded like he was done with drinking. He sounded like he's trying to get it together, but allegedly, the disappearance of his daughter has made him drink more. I mean, I get that. I totally do get that. And so the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, they responded to an alcohol-fueled domestic complaint at the residence of both Donald and Candus. And no charges were filed, and both were referred to the clerk of court's office for private prosecution. And so, they stated in the report that on January 19th at 12:27 a.m., sheriff's office guy, Hunter Newton, he responded to the Wells residence on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community after Candus called 911 claiming she had been hit by Don. Candus, she stated that Don grabbed her by the throat and pushed her against the wall. Candus stated she believed her left thumb was broken. She also stated both she and Don had been drinking and that she is afraid of Don. Don told the cop that they had begun arguing, but he didn't lay a hand on her. And so Newton stated, Sheriff's Office Newton, Cop Newton, he stated that Don also stated that when he arrived home between 7 and 8 p.m., Candus had already been drinking. While in the house, Candus spoke with Don without any fear. She also used her left hand to put on her shoes, and while in her mother's camper, used her left thumb to flick a cigarette. Now, that doesn't quite sound like a broken thumb to me. I don't know about to you, but that doesn't sound like a broken thumb to me. My friends, if this is the type of content you like to follow, please hit that subscribe button, click on that like, and smash that notification bell for me if you would. That would definitely help this video travel a little bit further, because at the end of the day, we need to get answers for little Summer Wells. I really hope this doesn't turn into one of those cases that never get solved. And so Sheriff's Office Newton, he continued and said he didn't notice any marks on Candus's neck or swelling to her thumb, and that Hawkins County EMA responded to the home, examined Candus, and determined her thumb was not broken. And the three sons, they have been removed from the home by the Department of Children's Services shortly after the disappearance, and we won't know why on that particular case, but there is a reward for anyone who can help lead to finding out what happened to Summer Wells. And that reward continues to grow. And so if you know anything at all on what happened to Summer Wells, excuse me, contact 1-800-TBI-FIND. That's 1-800-TBI-FIND. And this reward is climbing. As of last report, the Summer Wells Reward Fund was up to almost $74,000. And this total is from two large donations, one of $25,000 and another of $10,000. That was, that donations that was beginning of the reward fund to open and start the reward fund. And the remaining 38,000+ is from the contributions that were made either directly to the bank or mailed to the Church Hill Rescue Squad. And so if you would like to donate, here are two ways that donations can be made to the reward fund. Okay, so first, donations can be directly taken by any Civis Bank branch in Rogersville and Sneedville. Or you can send checks or certified checks. They can be mailed to the following address that you see on your screen, and it will be directly deposited to the reward fund account. And so again, Summer's disappearance on June 15th, 2021, this prompted 13 days of intense searching by more than 1,000 rescuers who covered 4.6 square miles surrounding her home, and they found nothing, no leads whatsoever. And this was followed by months of intense investigation by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, the TBI, and Federal Bureau of Investigation. Again, anyone with information, please, 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 if you know anything about this Summer Wells case, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Please. This will go a long way. 1-800-TBI-FIND. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. If this is the type of content you like, smash that subscribe button, hit that like, and click on that notification bell. That way YouTube notifies you when I upload content or I go live. And I do both. If there are any particular cases you would like me to cover, comment below. Let me know which ones you would like me to cover. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining me today. And please, if you know anything about Summer Wells, please keep her in your mind, keep her in your heart, keep her in your prayers. Let's get some answers for this 5-year-old little girl who is about to turn 6 in a week from this video. I'm Manny Rodriguez with Deep True Crime. I look forward to serving you again. Peace. Have a great day, my